Welcome to the... Literally, you're right. When I started. You should just keep that one. Welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that is perfectly balanced as all things should be. Welcome to the 200th episode of the Infinity Bros podcast. Over 5 years, 200 episodes, and another maybe 30-some minisodes of the Infinity Bros podcast, and some Infinity Bros Patreon exclusive episodes. I mean, way back to our off-topic gamer days. Like, man, it has been a ride on the Infinity Bros podcast. Yeah. And we're going to celebrate it today. So, first one I have with me is the red-bearded king of drip. It's Robbie Sauter.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other guy.
I mean, technically, you're both red-bearded, so
red-bearded, and one of us is the king of drip, the app. Follow on drip for a free drip credit, and the other has actual drip. Plug. We're plugging. We're in the first 5 minutes of the podcast.
That's good. I meant drip the app, but man, you could be king of drip too. Like,
I believe drip is like you look cool.
People like your fits on TikTok.
I had one person ever has said, "Hey, you look nice."
Hey, one is better than none.
I'm sure you have someone very specific that, maybe comments a little too aggressively towards how you look, but whatever. They don't matter.
The other Infinity Bro with us is the Infinity Bros Universe official tin hat distributor. It's Mark Jones.
Today. Is that going to be my subsection of Infinity Bros now? As
an LLC? Yeah, that's
divulge the people title. of tin hats. Here's your tin hat. Here's a conspiracy. Good luck with that with the rest of your life. You're going to always think about that when you shop at Walmart. You're welcome.
I thought of that one, and my other option was the weed whacker, because you always say going into the weeds,
I think Mark would like that one quite a bit, actually. Mark the weed whacker.
Going into the weeds.
He emerges from the weeds. We have 3 of us in our 6-person rotating cast.
It's like 50%.
Yeah, 50%. That's a good percentage. I did suggest a few weeks ago, hey, let's do a live episode for our 200th episode. But, we're like real adult men with kids and lives and jobs and all that stuff. So we'll do that at some point. Or going on dates.
There's one of us not married.
On a date.
One of us is probably already on a date.
Hey, if you're a single lady, there's a guy named Zane Ellis.
Well, he's nope. Zane's on temporary leave right now.
Could be anybody.
By the time this airs, he will be.
But it could also be Zane.
He could be married. Business. He's going to be open for business. He has a loft.
He does have a loft.
It's a nice loft and a lot of gunpla.
May not be single any longer
because of the gunpla.
Because of the gunpla and the loft.
We've made lots of memories over the past 5 years.
Yeah, segue your way out of that
of podcasting. There's no way I can't do it. And we were reminiscing a little bit on the very first part of this podcast, the Patreon exclusive version. You can check out the show notes to go check out our Patreon, which has exclusive uncut episodes of the Infinity Bros podcast, along with a few off-topic gamers episodes, the pre-Infinity Bro days. It's got a few exclusive Patreon episodes as well. If you want access to that, get to know us a little better, make sure you check out that link. For new listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in and checking out our podcast. We really appreciate it. And we would appreciate it if you would go to your podcast app of choice, rate and review this podcast, because it's going to push a lot further than we could on social media or anything like that. Guys, 5 years of Infinity Bros. What's been your favorite moments of the Infinity Bros podcast?
I would say for me, some of my favorite moments were during a period of time in, I think it would have had to been early 21 when Disney Plus first launched and WandaVision came out, because that was some grade A speculation and weed diving that was done during those times.
You and Max,
you guys were
you went
all in
full on weed diving.
I remember you guys going into what was a Captain America show, and it was like the first episode. The first episode was like 30 minutes long. You guys did an hour and a half podcast on a 30-minute episode.
That was,
and I was like, what
every single WandaVision episode.
Yeah, every single one.
What's wild though, like looking back at that now, if we had our following that Robbie has grown for us and did those episodes, and like at the time, like we had that following, like those people watching us.
Yeah, dude.
I think we'd have blown up even more during that. How hardcore that, you know, we're still locked at home. Basically, those shows are coming out. Everyone's watching and talking about it.
That was the time. Like
stuff.
that was
you
the
guys
time
were
where
dialed, man. That was
so many people were like pumping out content. Then that would have been the time. Like,
yeah.
But you know, we were all in different seasons of life, and now we're in a different season.
We continue to be. Yeah. Those were some good days. Yeah, those were
good old days.
Those are fun episodes to listen to.
My fondest memories go back to the Off-Topic Gamers when we were just trying to do this, and we
when it wasn't a job.
If anyone was around for our Off-Topic Gamer days, like we tried to play Fortnite, and we would have topics that we were going to talk about while playing Fortnite. So we would do essentially what we do now. Like we do like Hot or Snot. We do like we did a lot of top 10s, right?
We did a lot of lists.
A lot of
basically.
like top 10s, top 5s, whatever. And we tried to do that while we were doing Fortnite, and it was such a mess.
Bad. It was like either we were playing horribly because we were trying to focus on the podcast, or we were like dialed into playing and we weren't even like talking. Like there was no podcasting going on at all.
And didn't even think about like, hey, no one's going to listen to this, like. Because it like you have to either watch the video of it live or watch a video of it later, but no one's listening to this.
Yeah.
Like, because it's the worst listening experience ever.
It is. So I actually went back and I stripped the audio from those YouTube, which you can still watch them on YouTube.
Yeah,
by the way, they're still available. But I put them on our Patreon, and I've listened to a few of the episodes. They are rough. Listen,
I imagine. Well, none of us had good mics. We're all just using like headsets, right?
Like our crappy headsets.
This is not a professional setup. We were just like, hey, we're gonna do this thing, and we did it, and it was a thing. But those days were so fun, though.
Right.
So much.
If you're into the Infinity Bros for our chemistry, those are fun to listen to because we do have good chemistry. I mean, we're like great buds from. I was thinking about this, guys. We've been friends for like freaking 13 years now. Plus. That's just wild to think about. I know for me, I started going to Crown in 2011, but
me and Mark were late.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's going on 11 years, but yes.
Zane and Max were there before us, and it's been over a decade that we've been friends. So if you're interested in listening to some chemistry, that's fun to listen to. However, the podcasting is horrible. If you actually want to listen to a real podcast, don't go listen to those.
You can watch the recording of it, right? Because we still have like
I clipped a bunch of them up, and we have some of the lists still on YouTube as well. Those are more fun to listen to, but we still take game breaks and all that kind of stuff.
You just made me think of this when I don't remember exactly the point in time this happened, but this is Infinity Bros memory where it was decided because of outside sources that we as a group would no longer do 3-hour podcasts and just let it ride. we would try to do 90 minutes or less, but try to do 60 minutes or less. Yeah. Because 2 people told Max, your podcasts are too long to listen to. And it's like, all right. And Max like, we're changing it up.
Yeah.
We got to make sure these 2 people can listen to our podcast.
Right. It was an executive decision by Max after having 2 episodes of literally 3 and granted, those are Avengers Endgame. Like I think it's our second or third episode.
One podcast at the time, I don't know if he still listens to it, that Max would listen to wasn't like it could be anywhere from 3 to 8 hour podcasts.
That's the freaking irony is that the podcast that I don't remember the name of it now, but the podcast he listened to was literally like 7+ hour episodes. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Throughout the day. Yeah,
I thought
like these guys must be sitting in the studio for like literal days recording this episode. I don't understand.
I like you guys, but I can't.
I can't do that.
Oh, I'm sure we could if we were paid decent.
True.
Everyone has a price.
I've told people at my job, like if I was paid what I do there to do this, I would be doing this 100. I would quit my
100%.
job immediately.
If I got same,
My job doesn't pay me enough, and that's why I'm doing this.
if I got paid the same
Well,
in
there you
benefits,
go.
I would be hardcore into this nonstop.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The benefits is cardboard.
That someone's willing to pay
That's- yeah.
way too much money for.
Exactly.
Hell
true.
yeah.
That's true.
I'm one of them.
Actually, that's one of the things that I was going to mention, Mark, is the WandaVision run was so much fun. But one thing that I remember was very early days Infinity Bros. I think it was maybe our first or second year. We actually did a fundraiser for the Ronald McDonald House. And we raised like over $1,500.
Was that like at the beginning of
we did 24 hours
of COVID, like May of 2020?
Yeah.
No.
I think
was it
that year?
Because I
don't remember. I don't think COVID was a thing yet.
This is the timeline.
Because we would have donated to COVID. I would have mentioned.
We did that when I was in the apartment in Fargo. So that timeline would be October of 2019 to February of 21.
So it must have been 2020 because it was in the summer. Early. It was in June.
I think it was May or June. Would be my guess.
So that was like when stuff was still on lockdown then.
Because that's why we did it. Because it was like, hey, people are going to be watching us because they got nothing else to do.
So you're telling me that we did a 24-hour stream and didn't donate a single dime to COVID research?
I think we had already decided that we were doing Ronald McDonald.
I'm pretty sure even at that time, I said they didn't need the research because they knew exactly what it was.
Oh, we had
that's probably also a Mark thing. Yes.
Yeah.
That's some.
I think the Ronald McDonald House needed it more than COVID research needed it.
I agree. I'm all in on Ronald McDonald's houses, but
that was fun. I actually wish, like, I've thought about that. I literally thought about that. I think a week or two ago, and I'm like, we couldn't do that now. We have too many of us have kids now.
Yeah,
I'll take 12 hours. The rest of you take 2, and we'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
We'll have to do it on a specific Saturday.
Zane can take the late. Yeah.
We had some fun stuff come out of that though, because Max watched The Princess Bride for the first time ever, and
then
had a terrible take on it. Said that it was horrible.
His mind was already made up. Yeah, his mind was already made up.
That is
another thing that something happened. Someone had to say something to make it bad, because prior to that, like a month or two before that, he was all in to watch it. And then all of a sudden he's like, it's dumb. It's stupid. I don't want to watch it.
Max doesn't want to be told what to do or what to like.
That's the thing, is we all were like, oh, you got to watch it. And then he was like, oh, well, I don't want to watch it then.
Well, if Zane likes it, I can't like it.
That's fair.
So some reveals that I really like is like learning that Max is a huge Fast and Furious fan. Like loves Fast and Furious for whatever reason.
Would die on the sword.
But will not watch Mad Max because his name is in the title.
That's just classic Max.
It's just amazing. It's amazing to me.
It is amazing.
The man just sticks to his guns so hard that he won't watch Mad Max because his name is in the title, but all in on Fast and the Furious. Whatever Fast and Furious comes out. Yeah. Family. We have family.
And we found out that Jarrett is a real person too. That was pretty crazy. Mark didn't even know he existed.
That is the biggest revelation of doing the Infinity Bros. This is total side note to listeners. I came to Crown in 2013. I was there. I sat at the table that we sat at.
Class president.
Yep. Apparently he was our class president. Apparently I talked to him.
Student body president, sorry. Yeah.
And when Max, or I don't know who brought him into the group to like be a part of this, I was like, who is this guy? I mean, I'd never heard of him. I have no idea. I saw a picture of him, like, I don't know who this is. And all of you were like,
he spoke at chapel multiple times.
Exactly. And I went to chapel a lot. Because that was the first year he would have been there. And you guys were all like, he sat at our table. He probably did the odds game with you.
To be fair, he didn't really like hang out with us as a group. So like, I guess I could see how you completely
the
missed
big
him.
thing that's a whiff on me is he has told, I think this is, if I'm remembering this right, he told me we played on Zane's portable gaming system together. And I'm like, that's bad on my part if I don't remember that.
That would be a very connecting moment.
Yeah. So
that's rough.
Zane still has that thing too.
He still does. Yep. He still
has that.
Busts it out every once in a while too, which
family weekend. Zane's probably like, whenever we get together for the 4th, Zane's probably going to bring that thing.
Probably. I mean, last time we went to the cabin, we were playing
we played NCAA 14.
14.
NCAA 14.
Now we're going to be
playing
a
lot of
NCAA 25.
I'm so excited
together in a couple months, so it's going to be great.
I'm excited.
Lots of fun memories for the Infinity Bros. So if you guys have any, make sure to let us know. Social media. You can check us out at theinfinitybros.com. You can email us your favorite memory at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com. Well, guys, we are here to do a review of The Acolyte, but I do have one piece of nerd news that I wanted to get you guys weighed in on. So let's open up our nerd news.
Hey, Zane, I was looking into getting into this Gunpla thing. There's one called the Unicorn Banshee. What the heck is that all about? Actually, Jarrett, what you're thinking of is RX-0 Unicorn Gundam 2 Banshee, which is from the Mobile Suit Gundam. Actually, you know what? It's time for nerd news.
It's time for nerd news.
And that is our new bumper for the next 200 episodes of the Infinity Bros podcast. I only have one thing on nerd news. Zane and I talked a lot of nerd news last week, so we kind of covered a lot. But one thing that dropped just like 3 days ago that I felt like we pretty much had to talk about is that Jordan Peele talked with Marvel about directing an MCU film. This is a rumor officially because it was reported by a scooper, Jeff Snyder. And then like a day later, everybody was reporting that it like didn't work out. Like allegedly it's not happening anymore.
Yeah, just
but
like Kevin Feige
both
told
things
me.
are
Patrick
rumors,
Stewart's
so-
not going to be in a movie. We just can't get Patrick Stewart to play Xavier again. It just won't ever happen.
Yeah.
That literally happened in real life, and then he shows up.
So sometimes scoopers have real scoops. Sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they have
That's why it's called a rumor. Sometimes rumors are
So
true.
like the number one movie, right? The number one movie we want him for is Blade, right? They don't have director yet, do they?
They have.
Did
and
they
it's
they
been
fire
in and
one?
out. I don't know if they officially have one currently, but they've had directors
Whoa.
left the project. Been a cycle.
Is that not the perfect pairing?
That sounds amazing.
Like a little bit of his horror aspect with I'm gonna butcher his name.
Jordan Peele.
Mahershala Ali.
No. The actor
Mahershala
playing-
Ali. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. It's a perfect pairing.
Yeah.
Like, is there any other pairing that would work for Peele because he's such a big horror director?
Well, he's more of
right?
like a suspense.
Like who else?
He's more of like an M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah,
type of,
yeah.
like if you're going to go based off a specific genre of his stuff.
Sure.
Where it's just like,
So what
would
would he be
Blade
best
be
for?
best for him, or does he work better with maybe an X-Men movie?
See, I'm not a big X-Men guy, so like maybe I'm out of my realm here. But
Well,
he doesn't
I'll
make
see you guys
sense for
later.
suspense for X-Men.
Mark's out.
This is my new moment.
X-Men. I did finish 97. 97 was really good.
97 was really good. That was actually the rumor, was that he was in talks to direct the next X-Men movie for the MCU.
Oh,
There it is. And I didn't even know about this rumor. So how about
Once
that?
again, this is
I
all
don't know
part of
anything.
the rumor that Jeff Snyder, who, you know what, like the people that consistently are reported to be scoopers, why are they always just like super arrogant people? I feel like they're always just like, oh, this is happening, and if you don't believe it, then you're wrong and you're dumb. It's like,
maybe we should just pretend that we're scoopers.
maybe we should.
We could.
Maybe that'll
We
get our
literally
Twitter
do
going. Our
60-second videos of what was oh, damn it. I just forced myself into do something for this group. All right. I'm all in.
Okay.
There it is.
There we go. We're
New
gonna be
segment
fake
created.
scoopers.
There it is.
All right. Well, okay. Here's the start of our new segment. Are we bringing
No,
back little bits?
I mean-
like little bits?
I was
Are we
thinking,
going
we're
into
not
the
going into the weeds. I was thinking more like this is like a TikTok thing where you make
TikTok series.
Yeah,
Okay.
TikTok series
Okay.
would fit that
Let's-
better.
Spreading them weeds with Mark Jones.
Yeah, boy.
What is the first scoop that we're gonna start spreading here, Mark?
It has to be like a realistic scoop, though, right?
Yep. Jordan Peele's directing the new X move.
No, we can't. That one's already scooped.
Yeah, that's already done. You
Well,
gotta
like
get
the
new
scoop.
ones.
scoop's
You
gotta
gotta-
be something be like I can't. You want me to
No,
just
no.
create
It's
something
gotta be
out of the whim?
something
You just gotta.
Yeah,
come-
you have to
yeah.
create something.
That's
Daniel
like
Day
scooping.
Lewis is coming out of retirement to play Galactus.
Henry Cavill is going to be recasted as Blade.
That would be pretty wild.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
We're actually just
The
gonna replace
outrage.
Blade as a character
Yeah.
and basically make him the Witcher, but not call him the Witcher.
His name's gonna be Henry, and that's his only name, no last name, just Henry.
Henry
Just shows up in his Witcher outfit
Yeah,
from the show. From the show.
from
Like,
the show.
just-
From the show.
I
Yeah,
took this
yeah.
from set. I'm gonna wear it here.
He's like the same exact character, but his name is Henry. Just Henry.
Viggo Mortensen is going to play Gandalf in the new
Did you
Gollum
see that
movie.
he's as old or older than Ian McKellen was playing Gandalf in the first Lord of the Rings?
Okay, I need to go back to what I just said. Viggo Mortensen playing Gandalf in the Gollum movie that's coming out. Will that not be perfect?
Actually,
great.
I
mean,
kind of like
makes
that,
sense.
actually.
That connects the dots with what Mark just said. Like he's the same age as Ian McKellen was when he was playing Gandalf.
I kind of like that.
There you
Spread
go.
that
All right.
rumor, Mark. There we go.
All
Let's
right,
get it.
Infinity Bros Universe, you got to help us spread these new scoops.
Yeah, we got scoops.
We'll get them out on social media.
Yeah, someone just go. I heard on the Infinity Bros podcast.
I heard it on the Infinity Bros podcast, so it must be
Yeah.
true. That's going to be the new phrase.
Put it on a shirt.
There it is. Put it on a shirt.
Making new memories on episode 200 of the Infinity Bros podcast. All right, that's all I had for nerd news. Was that one little piece. So next up, but guys, we have our review of The Acolyte. Before we dive into doing our spoiler reviews, first of all, I'm going to give a little explanation on our rating system on the Infinity Bros podcast.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible, and 6 meaning absolutely excellent. If all of the Infinity Bros rank something a 6, it gets an Infinity Step.
Are you going to do it, or is there going to be a bumper for it?
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, we rate things on a 6 because we're unique and awesome. And 6 means we love it. If it's lower than that, it's not good. If it's under 3, it's trash. Hear me now.
Absolutely excellent.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
Because we're cool and unique. That's how we rate things.
Yeah. It's not a 5 or a 10. It's at a 6.
No.
Suck it.
Because there's 6 Infinity Stones.
6 Infinity Bros.
Six Infinity Bros. 6 stones. So we do things out of 6 here. Yeah, we're Infinity Bros podcast.
We're so cool, guys.
God, we are so freaking unique. It's crazy.
Just the uniquest podcast.
Speaking of
out
6,
there.
there's now a magic card that its name is just 6. So there you go.
There you go.
So now we can go get your
Maybe we can
your
incorporate
legendary
that some way.
creature treefold. No, you can't.
Somehow. We'll figure it out. Somehow we will.
Okay.
So first of all, before we get into spoilers, boys, we're going to do a quick 60-second review of The Acolyte. Kind of just like what basically you thought of it without giving your full rating. We'll save that for the very end. The Acolyte, new Star Wars series that just dropped this Monday on June 3rd. An investigation into a shocking crime spree pits a respected Jedi Master against a dangerous warrior from his past. As more clues emerge, they travel down a dark path where sinister forces reveal all is not what it seems. 2-episode premiere on Disney Plus on Monday, as we talked about. This is set in the High Republic 100 years before The Phantom Menace, episode 1, comes along. So, boys, 2-episode premiere on Disney Plus. What did you guys think of The Acolyte?
First off, that summary was awful. The summary they have, just doesn't sound good at all to me. I went into this completely blind because I didn't even watch the trailer for this. So I had no expectations going into this. And if we have a totem pole for Star Wars bros on the Infinity Bros, I'm towards the bottom. I think I'm only above Max probably. But I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. It kept my attention the whole time. The action was really, really good. They started out the episode with a bang, with
It's not spoiler, bro.
Yeah, unspoil yourself.
They started out the episode with a bang, with a fight.
There you go.
It's definitely not something that's like a Jedi. But no,
Super
I really
great.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed. It was good. I liked it. There you go.
Great. That's all we were looking for, Robbie. You literally could have just said, it was great. I liked it.
I liked it. I'm sorry. I just wanted to. I didn't want to be Zane.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah, it was good. It's a good couple episodes. Yeah.
That's a fair assessment of Zane.
12 out of 6. Yeah.
Mark, what'd you think?
I actually enjoyed it. I didn't go into this more blind like Robbie. I'm a top on the totem pole for this. I unabashedly love Star Wars. I did hear the chatter from a lot of the loud talkers online about why they would dislike it. So I tried to not read into that, just go in this blindly. And, so far, I watched it with my beautiful wife, Kelly. We both enjoyed it. It's fun. I think there could be I think the fighting scenes could be a little bit better, but I think they're in a specific art style, so I appreciate that. I think it's too early to say it's bad writing, like some people have said. I wouldn't say it's bad writing. I think it could be better executed, but I just very much enjoy the aesthetic they still go with as it's 70s look. That's what I just love is with all of Star Wars, they've just decided, everything's, if it's going to be before the original trilogy or the prequels, it's pre-70s look. So I very much appreciate
got the
that
golden
aesthetic.
brown combos
And the dark yellows, where it's just apparently 100 years ago, Jedis were yellow as a color. We love ourselves some yellow. But yeah, it's got piqued my curiosity. I want to see all of it, and then I'll give it I think a fair assessment and judging. Right now, I'd probably say 5 out of 6 for the first 2 episodes. Didn't blow my socks off, but also wasn't disappointed. So 5 out of 6.
I specifically said not to rate it right now, but
my bad.
That's
okay.
Too bad. I this is my moment that I will remember.
Mark's just taking the reins. This is Mark's podcast.
I went blind there. That's what happens. You're a top for Star Wars. You get into it. You start overthinking things, and before you know it, you start blowing the numbers. It's all right. Hey, just edit that out. Me rating it. The rest of the stuff's great.
Okay. I also thought it was great. I would also basically go along with what Mark said. It didn't blow my socks off, but neither did the first 4 episodes of Andor. And that show is my favorite Star Wars show ever. So I'm still holding out hope that this is going to be a really solid series. And they had some really good stuff. I really appreciate the vibe, like Mark said, of the High Republic era. A lot of great actors and acting. I think it's going to be a solid show. It just didn't blow my socks off, Lady Gaga style.
Whoa, spoilers.
Spoilers for what happens in my own house.
Lady Gaga, when she shows up. Lady Gaga's in...
Can you imagine? Yeah. She's too busy doing the Joker 2 movie.
Well,
she's in the Joker 2 movie?
If Star Wars is a musical, maybe she would be in it.
I'm just surprised there hasn't been a Star Wars musical.
That is a $1 billion idea.
And they won't do it.
Star Wars, the music, they won't do it.
Disney, I know you're listening.
It doesn't cater to the male audience, so they should totally do it.
All right, official spoiler warning.
This is...
Prepare yourself.
An Infinity Bros.
Prepare yourself.
Spoiler. Warning.
You've been warned.
Spoiler.
That's the funniest bumper we have, I think, because
it's a good bumper.
There's somebody screaming in the background randomly.
It's Thor.
No,
it's Thor.
What?
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
It's Thor?
It's
Thor's scream from
Ragnarok.
It's Thor's scream when he goes to in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
When he's going to meet the Grand Master. It's his scream.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that because I don't.
You didn't know that
at all.
That was a teaser by Max. That was a teaser by Max. It's the whole background music. Yeah.
Wow. All right, I'm gonna have to rewatch.
There you go.
There's another
look at that.
moment.
Look at that. Now you just
literally had that bumper for years.
There's a little moment for you guys.
I literally edit that every single week, and I had no idea.
That's from.
I knew it was from something, but I didn't know it was from.
It's from a Marvel movie called Thor Ragnarok. Came out a few years ago.
I don't know if we've ever seen that.
I don't think we ever reviewed it either, so I get your confusion.
So there was only one good Thor movie, so it's easy to forget.
Dark World?
Yes. Incredible obviously. CGI. That's the best moment.
Love and Thunder. That's
hey, don't hate on Love and Thunder.
Dude, I was on that episode with you, Mark. I thought it was good. I liked it.
We don't even joke about hating it.
Okay, good is maybe a stretch, but I liked it. It was fun.
A waste of Christian Bale.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And Gore as a character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bro, he could have been so much more. All right. Anyways, Acolyte, Star Wars. Had a pretty dang good cast. Amandla Stenberg plays May and Osha. Daphne Keane as Jecki Apprentice. Lee Jung-jae as Master Soul, who starred in Hunger Games. Squid Games.
Same thing.
Charlie Barnett as Yord.
Some more stuff.
Yord. Have you guys seen all the Yord memes that are going?
Yeah,
on
people don't like
online?
his hair. People don't like that they're using that hairstyle.
They're using
for-
the like Miles Morales like
yeah. You know, like
hairstyle.
every movie, like the token black guy has the
Yeah.
Miles Morales hair. Yeah.
Yord is a tool too, man. I mean, we'll talk about
Yord's
him
black?
in a bit, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
I don't believe you. Next,
They
you're gonna
want us
tell
to believe
me.
he's black.
Next, you're gonna tell me Daphne King's character's not human.
And we get a nice little appearance from Carrie-Anne Moss in episode 1 as Indara. So a lot of cool appearances and acting actresses and such. What do you guys think so far of episode 1? I mean, we already kind of touched on it, and Robbie kind of touched on it in his.
Okay, I'm ready to jump
non-spoiler.
into this.
I said one thing. She fights a Jedi the first 2 seconds. Like, sorry.
Yeah, thanks,
Jedi
Robbie.
fight.
Thanks,
Over
Robbie.
it.
Just ruined the whole podcast.
Hey! Somebody in a Star Wars movie fought a Jedi.
Shocker.
Usually doesn't happen in the
Spoiler
new shows.
warning.
So my only anything that because I saw it on Instagram reel was I forget the two actresses that they were interviewing. Basically, these were the actors saying this, I believe, if I'm remembering this right, calling it gay Star Wars. So I'm my only premise is okay, we're they're really gonna go.
It's
Amandla-
It's Amandla Stenberg and the director of the show.
Okay, that's who it was.
I'm forgetting who it was off the top.
But you know what I'm talking about, where it's this is gay
Yeah,
Star Wars,
right.
gay nerds, all that stuff, all that jazz. And I'm thinking
Leslie Headland is the.
So I'm fully expecting that, and really the only thing that so far has jumped out at me is okay, Osha and May have 2 moms, and in the grand scheme of things, is the most normal thing in the whole Star Wars universe to us. So it's okay,
and somebody mentioned that online, and I didn't even I didn't even catch that when I was watching it. It's not like it
he just went
focuses on it or
because they talk about
It's
her both her moms
you and your
dying, her
moms
sister and
died.
her brother.
Yeah. That's it. That's all there is.
Yeah, which is fine. Whatever. Yeah. All right. Now,
don't matter. But that's what people they're blaming on some demographics of viewers are gotta review bomb it. Ain't good. Can't have that.
Okay.
Yeah. It is.
Bring Christ back into Star Wars.
We already touched that on the Patreon.
Check out the Patreon for that.
Christianity and Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yes, review bombing. It is currently sitting at a 4.5 on IMDb with 18,000 reviews. That's actually a decent amount of reviews.
That's got to be some AI reviews.
It is sitting at a 1.9 on Google reviews. But there's not even 4,000 reviews. So
Google reviews are out of 5, right? 1.9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 1.9.
Okay. And then here's kind of our bread and butter that we like to talk about. Rotten Tomatoes. I looked it up literally right before starting this. It's at 26% audience score.
Oh, yeah.
2,500 reviews. So it's not a lot of reviews still. But 26%. The critic score, however, is 91%. That's got to be, and obviously that's going to change because more people see it, the more people are going to review it, that score is going to come up. But that's a huge disparity for Rotten Tomatoes.
And usually it's the opposite for Rotten Tomatoes. Usually it's Rotten Tomatoes hates it, but the audience likes it is usually how it goes. I don't know if I've ever seen that 91 to 26.
So this is obvious review bombing that is going on right now. And that'll level off when more people have seen.
Well, also they'll probably go in and review and see. They'll probably delete the ones that have brand new accounts and they're just negatively reviewing just this because they'll be able to tell that stuff. So it'll level, like you said, it'll level out in a few weeks. So
yeah, so a lot of discourse online, like Mark said, some press tour stuff that the cast and crew have said that have got people going. Online, there's a lot of criticism about the diversity of the cast.
Well, hang on, that's fair because if you go to the saga, there's a lot of white males and females that are Jedi, and just regular characters too. So in 100 years, something happens. Something bad happens.
That's right. That's what we pointed out in group chat earlier. Is
we
got a lot of diversity here. And then all of a sudden, Phantom Menace rolls around, and like almost everybody.
We're not
is
going to
white.
talk about what happened 50 years ago and led to us right now, but something bad happened 50 years ago. But
We're
we
just
can't
going to
talk.
ignore
We're just gonna
genocide, Robbie. Is that what we're
slide
going to
it
do?
under the rug.
So it's a lot like kind of what's going on in Germany, where they don't talk about the 1940s, the 1930 to 1945.
Didn't
Nah, it
happen.
didn't happen.
Period didn't happen.
Everyone is on vacation.
BMW just wasn't in existence then. They didn't make military vehicles for anybody.
Well, that's yeah.
Anybody. Just one group.
Do you want to dive more into that? Because that was very confusing. You brought
BMW,
up BMW.
the car company,
yeah, but
during that reign of a few years in the 30s and 40s, they made
yeah,
vehicles specifically for a group of people to help them.
you could say what people
You know what people. Nazis. BMW
Oh.
for not.
has their money bleeding Nazi gold.
But I'm pretty sure BMW they support Pride Month though.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're a company that clearly
in most
sides with the
countries.
majority.
In most countries.
In
that
most
benefits
countries,
them.
they do.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Just Google machine it. You can find a lot of companies in that area that are global now that had a lot of support and all of a sudden kept booming after the
Zane
fact.
would be spitting Google facts so fast right now, but unfortunately, he's not here.
So backtracking.
So
it,
you so what you're
clearly
saying is
the
something
Trade
like that happened in
Federation
the Star
does
Wars
something.
universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
There.
It's possible.
That's like extended
That's the
universe
next
stuff.
trilogy. Yes, that's
Could
the
you
next trilogy.
imagine
that's
that
coming up.
trilogy though? Could you imagine?
But see,
That
that
would
would
be
mean like even
wild.
Jedi were like, nah, you take.
That's
take
the
'em.
thing. That's
No,
what I
no,
was
no,
just
no,
gonna
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Now, and then in the prequel trilogy, original trilogy, nobody mentions that. No, we have no idea why that happened.
Mhm.
They're literally suppressing that information for some reason.
That is so
Wild.
interesting.
Wild.
I really want them. I want them to have the balls to make that entire like those 3 episodes, and then like
Mhm.
I want more backstory for Mace Windu and why he was okay to be on the council after all that happened. Like I want it all.
Mace Windu was
What was Mace up to? Like why was he okay?
he was a part of the ruling party.
Some
apparently.
people. I can't. This is gonna be a podcast. I was trying to relate it back to World War II, but I just can't at this point. I like Star Wars too much to do that. So
Yep.
Anyways,
Wow.
a lot of
Wild.
I was gonna say interesting discussion, but a lot of it's not that interesting, especially on X. There's just a lot of crap flying around. So stuff that
I just can't imagine
it's pretty
having so
ridiculous.
much. I'm gonna go out and say this. Acolyte's great so far. Nothing like over the top even for any moral beliefs at this point. I think that we can all agree upon. Which then you go to the cesspool that is X and the internet of like Uber Star Wars fans that are male dominated and like
Uber just for deliveries. It's not
I was gonna say. I mean, what do you have against
Uber doesn't deliver to Dagobah. It's
well, that was a pun
Unfortunately
because
not.
Uber is a German word, but anyways, moving on. You just over both of your heads with that one. So, where like these, and it's like men where they're like, Disney bought Star Wars and they said they were going to cater to the male audience. And now they're not doing it. Blah, blah, blah. Where it's just like, well, then stop watching it. Stop buying the merchandise. They're making this stuff to sell merchandise at the end of the day. It's like, so just don't go buy your
that's what
Acolyte
Star Wars
merchandise.
been-
Talk
That's
with your
my
wallet,
thing,
not with
like-
Built on.
not with your words on the internet.
We've had these guys talking about Disney Star Wars for so long now, and it's just like at some point, don't you just stop? Like, if you don't enjoy something, why are you still watching it? I don't understand.
At this point, you've been mad for at least a decade.
And it's
Right.
it's these
Like,
same people that
just tune off,
basically
bro.
made George Lucas sell Star Wars because he's like, I'm just
Right,
done dealing
exactly.
with these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're hating the prequels so much.
Right.
Like, you still get those old school Star Wars guys who like don't even acknowledge that the prequels exist.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they hate them so much, and it's like that's not how this works. If you don't like
Right.
them, that's fine. It doesn't mean that they're
That's the
not
story, bro.
canon because you don't
Right.
like them.
Like that's the story, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
The guy that wrote the first 3 that you liked wrote all the other ones too. Like you're stuck with it. That's just what it is.
Carry On Moss has a Trinity fight scene
Who's
with
Carry On Moss?
May. Trinity from
The Matrix.
Matrix trilogy.
Oh yeah, she died real quick.
Yeah, she died real quick, but she had a cool fight scene. Mark, you kind of referenced, I don't know if it was in your non-spoiler review or if it was after. They're definitely going for a specific like fight style. So the Jedi are not whipping out their lightsabers at the first sign of trouble. They're more reserved. They're doing a lot more like defense. Fighting. Martial arts.
Well, it goes from what she says at the beginning, like the Jedi only take out their lightsaber if they're ready to kill.
Right.
Like that I think that was a pretty they wanted people to catch that.
And in all fairness, in the sagas, Jedis are taking out their lightsabers because they're at war. So yeah, they're ready to kill.
True.
Right. I
mean, we get this pretty cool fight scene. It definitely feels, it doesn't feel Star Warsy, but that's kind of what they're going for. They're going for that martial arts type fight style. And then in episode 2, we get to Master Soul doing the same thing with May for a bit before does he ever take out his lightsaber? Now that I'm thinking about it,
he hasn't taken it out yet.
Yeah, he doesn't take it out.
But I think what they're doing good with the show is they're setting up hey, we're at peacetime technically. So all these Jedi are basically peace officers. So yeah, they're not taking out their lightsaber to kill anybody unless they have to, or unless that's their job. Like some of the lightsabers we have seen pulled out.
Yord uses his as a light stick.
Yord's
like, here's my glow stick.
Let's go back. Let's go back to Yord.
This dude nothing.
waltzes in episode 1, and you can tell he's a tool immediately from the get-go. He's like, I'm a Jedi Master, and I order you to tell me things.
Only has the rank of knight. Let's back it up.
Or you're right. He's a knight. He's not a master. But he goes in there and he's trying to like do this investigation with this person who he has known for a long time, and he just like completely acts like nothing. Which that's probably like a Jedi thing too. Like you shouldn't act professionally and stuff like that and not show attachment because it's a Jedi thing. But still, at the same time, it's like, bro, just like just chill out. Like just chill,
bro.
Daddy, chill. But yeah, what do you guys think of Yord so far?
Perfect character. He's dreamy. He's good to look at.
Dreamy. I don't know if it's
they took his shirt off instantly. Yeah.
Shirt off? Like what the heck?
That was weird.
I want to know Yord's workout routine. What does he eat to stay that shredded?
Yord be in good shape.
Is there also a high protein dog food in the Star Wars universe that people who work out eat? Like there is in America? And
probably.
Yeah. Robbie, what dog food do you eat?
Maybe it's a secret Jedi routine.
Robbie knows what I'm talking about, and he's refusing to play into it.
Honestly, I went brain dead, and I couldn't think of a dog brand. Of a dog food brand. I just couldn't think of no. I was trying to think of what my dogs eat, and I couldn't think of it, and I just went brain dead. Yord is Yord.
He's Yord.
Just like what's her name?
He's meant to be. They
just
wrote him as a tool, and he's playing the part. So,
do you think Yord has a good payoff in the end, or do we think he gets killed and we all feel sad?
If he does get killed, I think the internet will collectively feel sad that they can't meme him as much as they used to anymore. I think we'll grow in affinity for him a little bit, and I think he'll grow as a character because he's one of those guys that screams like, I have a lot of growth to make as a character.
Yeah.
So I can see that happening.
And then he dies.
But will he then die like Kylo Ren, just pointless and means nothing?
Well, I guess we'll find out. Amandla Stenberg plays both May and Osha. Ironically, starts out as what do they call her? A mechanic?
Like a mechanic? Is that what they're supposed to
be? Yeah, mechanic, where she goes out dangerously on the outside of the ship doing things that astromech droids are supposed to do.
Droids? Yeah, droids don't exist.
Well, they do, but remember they make a comment in episode 1 about these R2 droids being new. So like R2 droids haven't really been invented yet. So
they've been invented, but they're not in common use.
They're not astromechs.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, but it's OSHA, dangerous job. Somebody's got to do it. So OSHA goes out there and does it. And the whole first couple episodes are centered around, they frame it pretty well in that first episode to make it seem like OSHA is the one that killed Indara. And then we kind of go through it's a little mystery type, but they reveal it pretty quickly.
The moment we go and see OSHA, my beautiful wife Kelly, who I was watching with, it's like twin. Just like
Really?
right away, I'm just like,
she called it, huh?
I was like, oh,
Nice.
okay.
I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. I wouldn't say it's episode 1 and 2. So it's not like it's a massive reveal or anything like that.
Right.
She'll be playing May and Osha for the remainder of the series. We're going to get some Parent Trap vibes when they eventually show down, I'm sure.
Okay, so do you think that the show, and obviously we haven't got to the end, we're only 2 episodes in.
Mhm.
Do you think that it maybe could have been better off if they would have kept trying to play this mystery role of it?
Oh my gosh, yes. When we got this scene in episode 2 where she poisons Torben, I was thinking like this would have been way better off. It was if you still played it like they're investigating this. So it's always a mystery. Is Osha like you still get like is there really a May still around? Like give us more of that and then a big reveal like a few episodes longer versus just like within the first 20 minutes we know that they're twins.
Yeah.
Right.
So I agree with you.
And that like everyone and everyone else knows that they're twins. Like
right.
Like if they know they're twins, that's a whole different
That's
thing. But if
thing,
everyone else doesn't know, like
yeah, like give us more of a mystery as like the audience.
They played this up as kind of like a mystery series before, like in promotional stuff too. So I think they're really flopping the mystery to who this.
It's no longer a mystery series.
Well, the mystery is now who's the Sith person or
right. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Is who is May's master or whoever that is like either giving her power or commanding her to do all this stuff, and she's trying to hunt down and kill the 4 Jedi masters who were involved in her home world or not her home world, her family's deaths, which in the first episode is Zendara. In the second episode is Jedi Master Torben, who is in this meditative state for like 10 years, apparently. That was kind of cool and weird in a way.
Yeah, it's a callback
and
to
then they killed him.
comic.
And then they killed him. Really?
Just introduced
Okay.
a meditation like that. I'm pretty sure it's in one of the Darth Vader comics because I was reading up on it.
Ooh,
where they bring that up like Jedi would do like a 10-year like meditation thing. So
10 years seems a little extreme.
Well, it's just like, monks doing
years?
on like a vow of silence for years or even, Buddhist monks doing vows of silence too. So, I mean, it's something that is done in religions of the world. So.
Right. In an era of peace, it probably was more common until, when we get to our prequel original trilogy war.
But why would you do that in such an accessible place?
Right, where you have like but you did see that his force shield that he had around him was so strong that even someone who did wield the force
but still like wouldn't you think there's like a place that like a Jedi could go to do that? Like
you could have like just done it at
middle
the
of a
temple,
city,
right. I mean, it was a Jedi temple, but it's in the middle of the city and it's on some random planet. Like it's not
with the sky
well
view.
Protected.
There'd be a place.
One other thing too, when May went in the first time, she literally walked past a Jedi on her way to Torben's room, and I was like, "Wait,
like what? Yeah,
this
what
is
you
like
think...
kind of a remote planet. There can't be that many Jedi at the temple, right?
And
like,
in a building that's secure." That you'd be like, why is this person covering their face?
Like some random person.
Well, okay.
Person walks by.
Another thing, like on that same topic, during that her run in and then her like going up the Skyway, Kelly's like, how did that Jedi that comes in that they know someone's broken in not sense her presence going up there? And I'm like, that's a great point.
Right.
Like, I don't think I said great point, but I was like, I don't know. Are there some Jedi that just can't sense that? I don't know.
With thousands of Jedi at the time, you got to have some basic Jedi that just are
probably only like maybe 10 Jedi in that temple. Like there's probably not a whole
and they're
bunch.
Probably not high level Jedi either. They're probably just like, basic.
They're basically peace officers
who can't really do much. Yeah, peace officers.
So like they're not like the high ranking guys. They're just people that are patrolling cities. I'm sure that city that they're patrolling is probably not high in crime. So it's like you don't need to send your like warrior Jedis there. So I don't know.
Sorry, not to change the subject. This is a hard pivot, but I do want to get to some of these other characters. Daphne Keane as Jecki, Leslie Headland, the creator of this series, literally was like, yeah, we wanted somebody that could basically play Wolverine as a Jedi.
So we'll just get the actor who played X2.
Let's get Daphne Keane to play a Jedi. And so far, she's one of my favorite characters. She's just like still pretty charming, but kind of blunt and honest about everything.
Very blunt, yeah.
Yeah, and not like in a totally mean way or anything, but just like, just tells it like it is.
She's the Drax of this group. Just cold delivery, straight up. Yeah. You watch it. She's Drax in this group.
Yes, but she's not trying to just
No, but she's
say things for laughs, though.
She
That's
isn't. Not yet.
She did the Yord thing. She just goes, "It's Yord." That I like.
There's
I
gonna
enjoy
be
that.
there's gonna be some like viral song that comes out about Yord. I can just feel that happening.
Yord.
It's gonna happen. But yeah, she's a pleasure in this series. I actually love her character. Other thing was that like she's a semi-normal alien looking species, and I don't know what her
She's got
species
spikes
is.
coming
She's
out
got
of her
spikes
head.
coming out of her head, but it's not like too crazy. Yord's apprentice, on the other hand, when she walked into the room, I was like,
cute little kitty cat.
what
Nice kitty
is
cat.
that
Yeah.
thing? But yeah, I was like, what? They made some interesting character choices. with
That's
this,
what
but,
I
like,
love.
mean,
It's just like give us stuff we haven't seen. Because
yeah,
that was so
sure.
many people's complaints about some of the other shows. It's like, you're telling me in this whole galaxy there's only humans? Only
With
humans.
Andor, that was a lot of
Yeah,
people.
so like that. So they're giving
complaints
us
about
what the
that.
audience complained about previously. Like,
Yeah.
all right, here's
Yeah.
more aliens.
I'm
Here you go.
I'm not mad about it, but I was just like a little shocked when she walked in the room just all casual. I was like, oh my, okay. Alrighty then. Lee Jung-jae, who plays Master Soul, learned English
In 4
to star
months.
in this in 4 months.
I thought that was wild when I read that.
that dude is
Could you imagine
So,
trying
like, to
to
me,
learn?
did he get
to learn
cast
what
as
do- what
this
do you
and
speak
then learn
Japanese?
English?
Is he?
He's South
I think
Korean, I
he's
believe.
Chinese, so he's South Korean. Okay, so he's,
Yeah, you're.
Oh, okay,
That's
Could you imagine
wild.
trying to learn Korean? I don't know stuff.
yeah, that is wild that he just, and he says in his interviews,
Please
I mean,
move on.
obviously in
Because he's the guy from that one show, right? You know what I'm talking about, Netflix.
yeah, from the one show.
Yeah.
yes.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, that one show.
It's all in Korean.
Hunger Games, yeah.
Yeah, Hunger Games. There you go.
Yeah, that
Hunger
one.
Games. Yeah,
Uh,
Hunger Games. Yeah,
Korean Hunger
Korean Hunger Games. Yeah.
but yeah, he's Korean. He stars in some Japanese movies as well,
Oh, sure.
apparently. But yeah, he learned English for this, and I actually really dig his like heavy accent. Like it definitely makes it
Yeah.
It
more
gives that
believable,
like
'cause
noir
he's a good actor.
samurai movie feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where like he's just
Yeah.
it's great. Like he's my favorite
Mhm.
character so far, and I think that was meant to be like people are supposed to be like, this is who you're gonna love. So
Agreed.
here you go.
Yeah. So do you think that'll have like?
I'm
he'll end up
sure,
doing something
given
bad,
the
and then
reason
we
why
won't like him.
May is trying to kill them, and Torben's like, yeah, I'll
Right.
commit
And May's
suicide
still
because what we did
alive.
apparently was so bad that I've been in this 10-year
True.
silence trance. So like I'm anticipating some horrible things they did.
Mhm.
And that's why I think, and this is hear me out. Now I'm spreading the weeds. I'm getting in there.
Getting into the weeds.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna
Get
get a
in the
twist at the end
weeds.
where we're gonna get Osha and May fighting him, Soul, because they're gonna find out that he
Oh.
did some horrific things
Oh.
that killed their family.
Wow.
So
That would be wild.
yeah,
I'd be 100% down for that.
You heard
because
it
he
here
said I saw her
You
die. It's like
heard
if
it
you
here
saw May
first.
die, why is she alive? And why is this other
Mhm.
Yeah.
other master saying that Osha's dead? And you're telling Osha May is
Right.
dead, so clearly there's some connection there. So we might also get a twist that Soul might be maybe a Sith apprentice or whatever. We'll find out.
That would be wild. Okay, so going back to the Sith apprentice thing. So we got this guy, like Mark said, he's going to be probably the mystery focus moving forward, is who is this guy? What part does he have to play in this? Interesting part about this that everybody's kind of been talking about before the premiere of The Acolyte. There's kind of a throwaway line. I think it's by like Ki Adimundi in episode 1 that the Sith have been extinct for a millennia, which kind of goes to show that the Jedi just were kind of blind and oblivious to the Sith more so than
The setup to that
Right.
though was with what's her name, Yarda, or what was the
Yaddle.
Venstra, the pink, or not the pink, green person was like, we need to keep this hush hush. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. We need to keep this situation hush hush because we have such political.
No,
enemies.
she definitely said hush hush on the Jedi.
So like to
Council
me, it's like
in
yeah,
the
that's
movie.
why they're keeping
Hey,
Sith
keep it hush
the
hush.
Sith like thing quiet because they don't want that out if something bad's going on. So clearly, to me, that says, oh, the Jedi have been covering up some probably awful things for
Yeah.
millennia. So
Right. I know that's
Oh,
been
yeah.
a point of contention among, the weird Star Wars fandom of like, is this a retcon? Like, is this whatever? But I think it plays perfectly into everything that the Jedi were in the prequel trilogy, and that ended up being the fall of the Jedi Order.
And even
basically.
in the sequel trilogy, it's even Luke Skywalker talks about the Jedi's hubris and basically saying that, hey, they weren't all that good. So
Right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we dig into Master Soul's past a little bit and see what the heck went on that May and Osha might end up fighting him about. That's a cool little prediction there, Mark. I hope that one comes true. And then there's one other Jedi that she mentioned that she was going to go kill, and that
Unalive.
Klanaka
is alive currently. Klanaka, yeah, there you go.
Good luck.
Good luck. The Wookiee Jedi, which is amazing that we have a Wookiee Jedi of like all about that.
Even though Daddy George Lucas said, Wookiees can't be Jedis, and here we are. I think it was him.
Here we are.
There's some like that's another thing people are upset about, where like, oh, Wookiees can't be Jedi. It's like, at this point,
George Lucas also said like 3 years
actually-
before he started making the prequels that there would never be another Star Wars movie. He said a lot of things.
Yeah.
So,
big Kevin Feige.
Also,
type.
the guy who plays
big Kevin Feige type
plays this
guy.
Wookiee also played Chewbacca in the sequel trilogy. So,
I did not know.
He's
that.
also a former professional basketball player.
well, I think when you're over, 6'10", I mean, it's pretty easy at that point.
Oh,
Kelnaka. Yeah, that sounds like a Wookiee name.
he's Finnish.
Robbie stops watching.
He just goes watch highlights. In the very last part of that episode, we get a little clip of him scaring off some scavengers on the planet that he's on. So he apparently is safe, but that's where they're heading next to go take him out. So we'll get a showdown between and it's kind of funny that like May is apparently very well trained, but it doesn't seem like people are taking her that seriously yet. Like obviously she's murdering people, but she got the poison, which is, I don't know, underhanded way to kill Torben.
But I mean, for her to, because she killed a Jedi Master,
Yeah,
like by herself,
right. That's what I'm saying.
And-
Like
and
there's probably going to be a lot more outrage happening in the next couple episodes from Jedi people, because more and more is going to be heard about it, and word's going to spread. And
Well,
the Jedi
that
are gonna
was
start freaking out.
That was one thing my beautiful wife Kelly and I were talking about with Indara, or how do you say it? Indara. Her being a Jedi Master. Like, are we supposed to believe like maybe she partaked in the drink, so like she was not fully of mind, like intoxicated? Because how did she not sense the other knife behind
Right.
behind May to like also
so
stop
focused
that?
on saving
But I think
the other
she-
guy. That
I mean, I think she did. I think May just made her make a decision,
Right,
right?
yeah.
Like, because she might have sensed that there was a child, like a kid there, and was like,
Yeah.
I have to save him because there's a family.
That's a good
like,
point.
There you go.
you know.
Also in that moment, okay, so this is another big argument, I would even say, with my beautiful wife Kelly. So the moment, so May has taken off her face mask because she's hiding her face so no one can recognize her. She goes down to the bar attendant. Do you think she had the intention to kill the bar attendant there because he saw her face? And she
looked like
only
it for a
stopped
moment.
when she saw the kid?
Right.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
her
definitely
whole
looked
intention
like
was to go kill him.
She was going
because
to.
Kelly
She was
said,
going to. Yeah.
why wouldn't she just use the Force and kill him? And I said, well, Sith don't work like that. Sith like to make it personal. So that's why she, as a dark arts user of the Sith, would want to make it personal, go down there and want to stab him. And the moment she sees the child, she's like, I can't do this because I was orphaned and I don't want this kid to be orphaned.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's on a full Sith. She's using
Sith light.
the Sith abilities and the but she's using them to finish her means, right, which is just killing the people that she perceives.
So she's
killed
like
her
a night sister, a pre-night sister.
Okay.
Right?
That's an interesting comparison.
Well,
I'd
if
say
she's not
it's
a
like
full
a different
Sith.
order, but like
But like that's what you could. That's what I guess I could relate
I
it to.
compare her more to like an Inquisitor, I think. Like not really a full Sith, but like still has Force abilities, still uses a lot of
dabbles in the arts.
Dabbles.
I'm
Yeah,
blanking
there you
on
go.
her name.
Dabbles in the arts.
In Ahsoka, the like white-haired, silver-haired girl with
Morgan Elsbeth
with Ray Stevenson. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Oh yeah.
Like what would you
shoot,
call
what's
what would you call
name?
her?
Yeah.
Like I get what you're saying. It'd be
That's
more
a
like
gr-
that.
That's a great question. Yeah.
Like if you had to label him as like an Inquisitor, a Night Sister,
hmm
or is it like is there another term Star
Comparatively,
Wars?
That's a very good question because that's more like I feel like her and Balin Skull,
There you
Shin Hati, that was her name.
There you go.
I feel like they're more like mercenaries, honestly, and they just
But
they
like
just happen to be
he
Force
was a
users,
Jedi
and
at
they
one
also use
point.
the Force.
She was never a Jedi.
Right. She was never a Jedi. Yeah, that's interesting. It's a good point to bring up. I don't know what category that puts them in, but Zane and I have talked about this too. There's a lot more gray area or gray Jedi, what they say now. Back when the prequels came out, the original trilogy was out, it was like good or bad, Sith or Jedi, like that's all you had. And now with this era of Star
Right.
Wars, we've got like, I mean, after the destruction of Death Star, after the rebellion, you've got all these people who used to be Sith, used to be Jedi. Darth Maul falls under that category too. He's not Sith per se, but he's obviously a bad guy, and he uses the Force and still has a red lightsaber. And what do you call him too?
Right.
So there's a lot of gray area now.
Also another
was
question.
unprejudiced.
Yes, he was.
Does
point.
Darth Pelagius show up in this series?
That's a great question because this seems to be about the right era. This is 100 years
and
before
he dies in 32.
Phantom
'cause
Menace.
That's when Emperor
Uh-huh.
or Darth Sidious kills him. So he would be.
He dies in 32.
I believe
canonically.
so. I think so. That's his.
Really?
Oh,
So he's telling that story fresh.
oh yeah. Let me
in
look it
Revenge
up
of the
again.
Sith. That's actually wild. I didn't
Yeah,
know
he
that.
dies in 32 BBY, which would be 32 years.
We might see
So-
a young
So
Pelagius
13
then,
years.
because he wouldn't be a
13
full
years
Sith
before
Lord.
the Empire is formed, would be that. So, to me, he's got to be
15 years before the Empire is formed is when Pelagius dies. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just happy to be here.
Robbie,
These are things I
sitting
know
here.
nothing about.
I know
This is-
some of these
okay.
names.
Robbie, this is what I feel like when you and Jared are talking about Magic the Gathering.
No, that's fair.
This is
That's
how I
fair.
feel.
No, I'm there right now.
Just in
I've
that
heard
headspace
these
of,
names and I sort of understand what's
Yes.
happening, but
Yes, I know that word.
I know
Yes,
that word.
That one.
that
Yes.
word in this context, that makes sense. Yep.
It's very similar. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. It kind of follows the timeline. So maybe we get at least a reference of Pelagius with whoever this mystery Sith guy is. I mean, obviously he flashes his red lightsaber. Doesn't make him Sith necessarily, but like pretty good chance
Could have
with
just found
all
a red
that we've
rock.
already.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe he did. Who knows?
Maybe he went to Disney Star Wars
Per
world or whatever.
Wikipedia,
That's true.
Pelagius it dies the same year that the Trade Federation, so that'd be episode 1 per
Mhm.
Wikipedia.
Okay.
So if listeners disagree, let us know. I would like to be learned,
Let it be known.
but that's what I saw
Yeah.
on Wikipedia. Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
So like Palpatine, it's not him. He's not the master.
No, yeah. Palpatine wouldn't have been.
He wouldn't.
Yeah,
exist yet.
he probably wouldn't be alive because I think Palpatine's got. I mean, and Palpatine is human too, so he's got to be, I don't know, 40s, 50s when the prequel happens.
But the
So-
guy you're talking about was the guy that learned how to like extend life.
Yeah,
So he feasibly could have.
Well, that's
been
what I'm
alive.
saying. Pelagius
True.
has to
That's
be
true.
alive. That's what I'm thinking. Like, yes, Palpatine could
Right.
also be doing that because he's been taught that.
yeah. Palpatine could potentially be alive. Pelagius is probably.
Well, I'm sure Palpatine's on
Good chance he's
Wikipedia. I'm
alive.
gonna look it up.
Our whole episode is brought to you by
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
By
But I
Zane.
do believe, like, if
By
you're
Zane.
telling this story with Sith involved, Pelagius has to be involved somehow. Whether he's young or he's being recruited, I just feel like he's got to be showing up.
I think it would just be a reference. I don't think they would go so full as to like put him as an actual character in the show.
So if we're going 100 years before the start of the Republic, right? So it's 100 years before Episode 1.
Well, a person on Reddit thinks it's Quimir.
Oh,
If that name means anything to you
so
guys.
Kamir is the little helper guy that May is working with that takes over the shop.
Oh.
And
Mhm.
You
yeah,
think
I've
he's
heard some
working
theories.
as like he's the Sith Lord, but is like also assisting and like
Mhm.
teaching that way?
Yeah, I've been hearing theories that people say that it
So
could be
because that would be interesting
him.
because when he goes and talks to Osha, and he's like,
you look so much like her.
Exactly. Like, because
Right.
that's a little like that didn't seem on character for him.
Right. That seemed a little creepy and on point, and it was just like, ooh.
So that's
okay,
kind
this guy
that's kind of
knows-
an interesting.
right. So
I could buy into that a little bit.
That's an interesting theory.
I thought
like that.
I thought that actor was Ezra Miller for a second. I was like, it can't be. And then obviously it wasn't. But I was fooled. I was fooled right away. I was like, they really like out of like people are still casting him and stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of people online are pointing to.
I like that.
Or
That's a
however
good.
you say his name.
That's a good weed.
Yeah.
Weed theory.
So the article that I'm referencing here says 100 years before the rise of the empire, and they're placing it at 132 BBY.
Okay, so that would be 50 years before Palpatine is born, because it says he was born
That
in
makes
82
sense. That's
BBY.
about what I kind of
and Pelagius dies in 32
guesstimated.
BBY. So possibly Pelagius isn't alive yet, but he's a different species. So I'm not. And on Wikipedia, he doesn't have a birthday. So
And like
Is it-
Robbie said, if he's the guy that learned how to cheat death basically with the Force, he could be very old by the time Palpatine murders him too.
Is it
So, who knows?
Soul projecting himself there?
it's great stuff.
We know now, right? That they can astral project or however you.
Yep.
I don't know what the word of that. Like,
that's true.
Is it
what
Soul?
we would call it. It could be.
I absolutely love that you just looked up the theories.
No,
that
no.
are
This one,
surrounding your just
this one I
looking
actually thought of myself. I was looking up theories.
Oh wow!
But this
Look
one,
at you.
I actually
Look at
thought of
you.
myself.
That would be wild. That would be a cool theory. I know there's a lot of people, me not included, because I thought it was cool, who hate The Last Jedi, and they really do not like the projection force power,
Yeah,
I guess, that Luke uses in that
Yeah.
movie. I thought it was sick. So I think
I just wish he didn't die.
That
from
would
force
be-
powers. Yeah,
That's
all
like my
force
only
powers
gripe with
are-
that.
Yeah, makes no sense.
I mean, there's so many force powers out there that we're continually learning about new
I'm
force
I'm never
powers that are
upset
coming out.
at force powers. I'm upset at
Well, I love when
mid movies.
talking about force powers. When people get mad, like, how do you
Fair.
survive
That's
a
fair.
lightsaber cut? I was like, well, don't get your spine severed in a bad spot. That's how
True.
you don't.
Yeah.
That's how you
Okay,
survive.
that's another thing actually that people were pointing out, that was that like, oh, I guess lightsabers aren't lethal anymore, but blades are, because
Well, yeah.
May kills Indara in that first episode. But it's like, I mean, when the thing that people point out is Sabine in Ahsoka getting stabbed with a lightsaber, which is way down,
Yeah.
like
In
far right
non-life-threatening
bottom side of her
areas.
abdomen. Right, exactly.
No biology.
And
Biology is an important thing that people are just forgetting in today's society.
So and Isaac, as the resident nurse here,
medical professional.
wouldn't getting stabbed with a lightsaber, basically, like all of that would
Cauterize.
What's the word I'm thinking? Of? All that would
Cauterize.
cauterize immediately,
Mhm.
right?
That's the theory, is
like,
that lightsabers
there
would
wouldn't be a
cauterize
lot
wound.
of bleeding,
Right. There wouldn't be any bleeding, and that's like
So that's why it has to be a slash, not a stab.
that's
You
why
don't stab with a
abdominal
lightsaber.
wounds are really life-threatening, because you bleed internally. With a
you bleed,
lightsaber,
right.
you wouldn't be bleeding internally. And obviously Indara gets stabbed in the heart with a blade. So it's like, okay, well, if she
That
doesn't
will
get medical
cause a lot of
attention
bleeding.
that second, she will not survive.
And just like Qui-Gon
So
Jinn
that's why she
didn't
dies,
survive.
obviously. Just like Qui-Gon Jinn. He didn't survive, but he also probably didn't get medical
And
attention.
Obi-Wan
for a
Kenobi didn't
really long
have
time.
the ability to heal. Like Rey did instantly.
Not yet. Not yet. Silence after that. Mark knows what I'm talking about.
He should have worked on that a little bit more.
He should.
But Darth Maul
a lot
can
of people,
get
a lot of people
can
died.
get
he was
cut in
just a-
half.
A lot
He's just
of people
Padawan
died around
at the time.
Obi-Wan.
That's true.
But then
Poor
all,
guy.
all
Yeah,
that to say, well,
So a lot of it was because of him.
Darth Maul gets cut in half and he survived.
That also is
However,
true.
he
But-
can use
And then
He had
Sith
the
powers.
goes up.
willpower.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Sith powers and willpower.
and the hate.
And also not a
hate, the
human, so I
willpower
don't know
of
how his
hate.
biology works. So,
That's also true. Maybe he didn't have a spine.
and very, very much could. I mean, he's not human, so yeah.
He does a lot of backflips. He might not have a spine.
That's true. That's true. You might not. A lot of good theories being tossed around here, boys. But I think we do have to wrap it up. So here we go. Moment of truth. Robbie, what's your rating of the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte?
Mark said anything below a 5.
No.
is
Anything
trash,
below
I'm
a
pretty sure.
3
is
is trash.
So
Oh, I would be concerned if Mark thought that, because his rating scale is all over the place.
all over the
I
map.
don't understand it.
Since Mark already said his, I don't think it's a 6. I don't think it's like. I agree with you guys. It didn't blow my socks off, but I did enjoy it. I had a good time. So I will give it a 5.1, just to be a little more excited about it than Mark.
Okay. Would you like to expound on your rating at all, Mark?
I know. I think 5 would still be what I would say through the first 2 episodes. I would definitely say for me the second episode is better. So if I had to break it down between both episodes, I'd probably give episode 1 a 5 out of 6. Episode 2 I'd probably give a 5.25 out of 6. Give my average up to maybe about 5.12, just slightly higher than Robbie's rating.
Oh, we're just changing the game now.
Changing it on the fly.
Oh, we're just changing it up. You already gave your number. Your number is 5. You gave your number. You gave your number at the beginning when you weren't supposed to. That's your true number. That's your true number.
Well,
now that you know my number, now you're giving a different number.
Is what it is.
Interesting.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm going to be a little bit more harsh on it. I'm going to give it a
He hates it.
4.75.
Oh, you hate
Just say you
that
don't
show.
like
Just
it.
the worst.
You
Yeah.
hate that show.
I'm like
My
in
goodness.
the hater club.
It's the
on
lack of
Twitter.
white
Yeah,
people, isn't
on
it?
X. Yeah. Diversity.
Jeez.
Isaac
That's the
has
thing, yeah.
said on record on
Chill
this
out,
podcast.
There's
we
no
need
straight white
more
males on the
white
show.
Jedi in the Acolyte. Right. You said that, right?
Yeah.
You said that,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that's a quote that I
There it
said
is.
earlier in
We need
the
more.
show, so.
Mark, what we need more of? We need more Jedi with red hair.
Well,
That's
the one
true.
The only Jedi with red hair has got a video game.
right.
I mean, he has
If there's
two,
anything more
to be fair.
universally disliked by
It's a
all people,
continual.
it's redheads.
It's redheads, yeah.
Every
Anyone with red
people
hair,
group, every gender, every creed and religion, all hate on
the
redheads.
first character to get replaced in any like remade movie or whatever is always the redheaded person.
And Mark will
It's funny.
continue to suffer as
It's funny
long
how
as
that
that
works.
trend continues.
No one suffers like
Are you
I
okay?
suffer.
Mark is the one. That
Mark has a
suffered
list.
the most.
He has a list of all these movies that have taken redheads out.
There is a list out there. It's hilarious when you go deep diving.
What
into
happened?
it,
Okay, what-
It's funny.
Isn't it funny that the only one that hasn't been replaced is Chucky?
Oh, it's a doll, so it's not really.
Like the murderous doll is the
Not
only
yet.
one that hasn't been replaced, and that's been remade a bunch of times. It has a TV
Because that's
show
what
now.
Hollywood thinks that true personality of redheads is. It's
Right.
a murderous,
That's it.
murderous doll.
Yeah,
Or Cal
yep,
Kestis.
that's it.
Or Cal Kestis.
Or
There's only two, and those are it. Chucky or Cal Kestis.
it's a
It's all I got these
It's a
days.
rough list.
we got different sides of the spectrum, and there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
It's just
Nope, nothing.
those are the two.
Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you so much for making us a part of your podcast experience. Mark, thanks for joining us on the 200th episode of the Infinity Bros podcast.
I'm glad
Wow.
I could be here to tickle the ears of the Infinity Bros universe and to spread the weeds and bring joy to everybody. Love you all.
Robbie, thanks for joining Mark and I in what is probably not your forte, but I still think you had fun on this episode.
I love Star Wars. I'm just not a Star Wars nerd, which I think is
That's fair.
I'm the common man for
You're
Star
the common
Wars.
man. Yeah.
I'm the
yeah.
common
You're
man.
the common man. I love that.
Yeah.
Robbie's just the common man of the Infinity Bros podcast.
Robbie
Yeah,
is
sure.
the man for the Infinity Bros.
That is also true.
I'm a man in the Infinity Bros. Yeah.
Robbie could just lift us all up and bring us to a better place.
I'm a person.
Maybe a pool. That'd be
But
nice.
a good looking person.
A person on the Infinity Bros.
A bro.
A
just a
non-old
person.
redhead.
A brother. What's up, brother?
Brother.
A friend. A pal.
You can check out
A pal
the
buddy.
Infinity Bros
A
at
guy.
theinfinitybros.com. You can hit us up on social media if you had anything really, really important to say to us about what we said on this episode of the Infinity Bros podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Make sure you check out the Patreon. There's a lot of good stuff on the Patreon.
Yeah, we had a great conversation on the Patreon before this episode. Probably one of the wildest Patreons we've ever had, if I'm being completely honest. So
Whole lot of loads of stuff in the Patreon.
Loads.
Loads of
Back-to-back
good little
loads.
nuggets. 3 loads a day.
Be hydrated.
how do you
before
guys
you-
expect me to edit this?
You don't.
All right.
Well, you probably have to.
Love you guys 3000.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at The Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send us listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.